Ms. Nwosu, we need you to come to the Moonlight Crown offices immediately.
Why?
We need to discuss your contract.
Is the project being cancelled?
We haven't decided yet.
Amara, what? You need to see this.
What are we going to do? They're not taking this from me.
The wine glass slipped from Amara Nwosu's hand and shattered against the marble floor. "Stop!" Her voice cut through the restaurant. Every conversation died. Amara pushed herself away from the table as a man in a black suit stepped through the entrance, followed by two silent security guards. She stared at him. She knew exactly who he was. Kang Min-jae, the 32-year-old billionaire who owned half the luxury buildings in Haneul City, the man everyone in the country called untouchable. But he wasn't looking at anyone else. He was looking directly at her. He walked across the restaurant without saying a word. Amara's heart hammered. "Why are you here?" she whispered. Min-jae stopped in front of her. Then he placed a small white box on the table. "I was told to give you this tonight." Amara didn't touch it. "By who?" His expression changed. "Professor Han." Her breath caught. "What?" "Professor Han asked me to find you before." Min-jae paused. "Before what?" Amara's eyes filled with tears. "Before what?" He lowered his voice. "Before he couldn't speak to you himself." Her knees almost gave way. Professor Han had been more than her mentor. He had been the man who had believed in her when nobody else did. And now Korea's youngest billionaire was standing at her birthday dinner holding something the professor had specifically asked him to deliver. Amara slowly reached for the box. Her fingers trembled. "What's inside?" "I don't know." "You didn't look?" "No." "Why should I believe you?" For the first time, something almost like a smile touched Min-jae's face. "Because if I had wanted to open it, I wouldn't have brought it to you." She looked at him suspiciously. Then she opened the box. Her entire body froze. Inside was Professor Han's old leather sketchbook. The same sketchbook he had carried everywhere when she was a struggling student. The same sketchbook he had once used to teach her how to see beauty in ordinary spaces. Amara touched the worn cover. A tear rolled down her cheek. There was a note tucked beneath it. She unfolded it. Only one sentence had been written. "You were never as small as you thought you were." Her lips parted. "Professor?" Min-jae watched silently. Amara pressed the note against her chest. "Why didn't he call me?" He tried. "Then why didn't he?" "He was in the hospital." "I know that." "And he didn't want you to hear how sick he was." Amara looked up sharply. "He knew?" Min-jae nodded. He knew he was running out of time. The room seemed to disappear around her. Amara sat down. For several seconds, she couldn't speak. Then she looked at Min-jae. "Why would he send you?" Min-jae pulled out the chair opposite her. "Maybe because he knew you'd listen to me." She gave a weak laugh through her tears. "I don't even know you." "I know. And you expect me to believe that a billionaire just happened to become friends with my professor?" "I wasn't his friend." "Then what were you?" Min-jae leaned back. "He once saved my company." Amara frowned. "Your company?" "And before it became what it is today." She studied him. He looked nothing like the arrogant billionaires she had seen in magazines. He wasn't surrounded by women. He wasn't drinking champagne. He wasn't talking about money. He was simply sitting across from a grieving woman at her birthday dinner. And somehow that made her even more curious. "You're strange," she said. "I've heard that before." She almost smiled. Almost. Then her eyes dropped to the sketchbook again. The birthday celebration continued, but Amara barely noticed. Her friends tried to cheer her up. The restaurant staff brought out another cake. Someone played music. But Amara kept thinking about Professor Han. 3 years earlier, she had arrived in Haneul City with 2 suitcases, barely enough money to survive, and a dream of becoming an interior designer. Nobody knew how many nights she had spent staring at her empty bank account. Nobody knew how many times she had considered going home. Then Professor Han had found her sitting alone outside the university design building. "You're talented," he had told her. Amara had laughed bitterly. "Talent doesn't pay rent." "No," he had replied. "But talent combined with courage can change your life." She hadn't believed him. Not then. But he had. He helped her find her first internship. He introduced her to clients. When she couldn't afford proper equipment, he gave her old design books. And when she finally opened her tiny studio, he was the first person to walk through the door. "Don't make it fancy." he had told her. Why not? Make it yours. Amara had smiled. I'll try. No, don't try. He had pointed at her. Do it. That memory hurt now. Because the man who had taught her to believe in herself was lying in a hospital bed, and she hadn't even known how serious it was. After dinner, Min-jae found her standing outside the restaurant. You're leaving? I need to see him. You can't tonight. Why? Visiting hours are over. I don't care. I know. She turned toward him. You don't know anything about me. Min-jae looked at her for a moment. You're right. Then he reached into his pocket and handed her a card. Tomorrow morning. She stared at it. What is this? The hospital address. She took it. Thank you. He nodded. She started walking away. Then she stopped. Min-jae. He looked back. Why did you really come? He didn't answer immediately. Then he said quietly, because Professor Han asked me to make sure you didn't give up. Amara's eyes burned again. I wasn't planning to. I know. He walked away. She watched him disappear into the night. She didn't know it yet, but that strange birthday visit was about to change everything. The next morning, Amara rushed to the hospital. Professor Han was awake, barely. When he saw her, his tired eyes brightened. You came. Of course I came. She grabbed his hand. Why didn't you tell me? Because you would have stopped working. I would have come. I know. Then why? He smiled weakly. Because I wanted you to finish something. Amara swallowed. What? The Moonlight Crown project. She stared at him. The Moonlight Crown was the largest hotel redevelopment project in Haneul City. Only 5 companies had been shortlisted. 4 were massive corporations. The 5th was Amara's tiny design studio. She had spent months preparing the proposal, but she had never believed she could actually win. Professor, I don't know if we can do it. He squeezed her hand. You're already thinking like someone who's going to lose. I'm being realistic. No. He looked directly into her eyes. You're being afraid. Amara went silent. He continued. You have spent years waiting for someone to tell you that you're good enough. His breathing became difficult. Stop waiting. She fought back tears. What if we lose? Then lose. She stared at him. But don't lose because you were too afraid to try. That sentence stayed with her. For the next 3 weeks, Amara barely slept. She and her small team worked around the clock. While giant corporations hired entire departments, Amara had 4 people. 4. They worked from a cramped studio above an old bakery. Sometimes the electricity went out. Sometimes they couldn't afford new materials. Sometimes they ate instant noodles at 2 in the morning. But they kept going. Then came presentation day. Amara stood outside the Moonlight Crown boardroom with her proposal clutched against her chest. Her assistant, Mira, looked at her. You're shaking. I know. Are you scared? Yes. Mira smiled. Good. Amara frowned. Good? It means you care. The doors open. Amara Nwosu? She took a breath. Yes. Your presentation is next. She walked inside. For 40 minutes, she explained everything. The lighting, the cultural elements, the guest experience. The way the hotel would make visitors feel as if they weren't simply staying in Haneul City, but experiencing it. When she finished, the room was silent. One board member finally spoke. Your company is very small. I know. And you're competing against firms with 10 times your resources. I know. So why should we choose you? Amara looked around the room. Then she remembered Professor Han. She remembered the sketchbook. She remembered his voice. Stop waiting. She lifted her chin. Because you're not choosing a company. She paused. You're choosing what millions of guests will feel when they walk through your doors. Nobody moved. Amara continued. And I don't believe people remember buildings because they were expensive. They remember how those buildings made them feel. Silence. Then one board member slowly smiled. Thank you. Amara walked out. She had no idea what would happen next. 2 days later, her phone rang. Hello? Is this Miss Nwosu? Yes. This is the Moonlight Crown Selection Committee. Her heart began pounding. We've completed the first round. She stood up, and there was a pause. Your studio has been selected. Amara covered her mouth. Selected? Yes. She could barely breathe. Are you sure? The woman laughed softly. Yes. Amara dropped into her chair. Mira rushed toward her. What happened? Amara looked at her. We did it. Mira screamed. The entire studio erupted. For the first time in years, Amara allowed herself to believe that Professor Han had been right. Her little studio had a chance. Her dream was becoming real. But the celebration lasted less than 48 hours because someone discovered one connection. Amara knew Kang Min-jae. And suddenly, her victory no longer belonged to her. The first headline appeared at 6 in the morning. Billionaire chairman's mystery woman wins major hotel contract. Amara stared at the screen. Her smile disappeared. Another headline appeared. Romance or talent? Questions surround Moonlight Crown decision. Then another. Did Min-jae buy his friend's success? Her phone started ringing. One call. Then another. Then 5 more. Mira ran into the room. Amara. What? You need to see this. Amara looked up. Mira's face was pale. What happened? The media found out that Min-jae delivered Professor Han's gift to you. Amara's stomach dropped. And they're saying he influenced the committee. That's impossible. I know. Another notification appeared. This time it was worse. Someone had leaked an internal document showing that Amara's company had supposedly received special consideration during the selection process. Amara stared at the document. That isn't real. Mira nodded. I know. Then who created it? Neither woman had an answer. Amara's phone rang again. She answered. Hello? A man's voice came through. Miss Nwosu, we need you to come to the Moonlight Crown offices immediately. Why? We need to discuss your contract. Her heart sank. Is the project being canceled? Silence. Then, we haven't decided yet. The call ended. Amara slowly lowered the phone. Mira looked at her. What are we going to do? Amara stood. For the first time since the competition began, fear was no longer hiding in the corner. It was standing directly in front of her. And it was coming for everything she had built. The phone slipped from Amara's hand. Mira caught it before it hit the floor. Amara? She didn't answer. She was staring at the wall, trying to understand how everything could collapse so quickly. Yesterday, her team had been celebrating. Today, the biggest project of their lives was suddenly in danger. I want to see the document again, Amara said. Mira opened the leaked file on her laptop. Amara leaned closer. There it was. Her company name. Her signature. The selection committee's supposed approval. Everything looked authentic. But something was wrong. This isn't mine. Mira frowned. What? I never signed this. You're sure? I'm positive. Amara pointed at the bottom of the document. Look at the date. Mira checked. Her eyes widened. This was supposedly approved before our final presentation. Exactly. Amara stood. How could they approve our company before I even presented? Mira stared at her. Someone created this to make it look like you were chosen before the competition ended. Amara's jaw tightened. So they didn't just want to embarrass me. No. They wanted to make me look guilty. Mira nodded. And if the board believes this, they can cancel everything. Amara grabbed her coat. I'm going to the Moonlight Crown offices. Mira followed. I'm coming with you. No. Amara, I need you here. Why? Because if this gets worse, someone needs to protect the studio. Mira hesitated. Then she nodded. Be careful. Amara stopped at the door. I will. But the moment she stepped outside, 3 reporters were waiting. Miss Nwosu? She froze. Cameras immediately turned toward her. Did Chairman Kang Min-jae help you win the Moonlight Crown project? Are you romantically involved with him? Did he pressure the selection committee? Amara kept walking. Miss Nwosu, is your company actually qualified for the project? She stopped. Slowly, she turned around. My company earned that position. A reporter stepped closer. Then why was Chairman Kang seen delivering a personal gift to you at your birthday dinner? Amara's face hardened. That has nothing to do with my work. Doesn't it? Another reporter raised a photograph. It showed Min-jae sitting across from her at the restaurant. The image made them look far more intimate than they had actually been. Amara stared at it. Someone had clearly been watching them. She looked directly at the cameras. If you have questions about the Moonlight Crown project, ask the committee. Then she walked away. Inside the car, her hands were shaking. She hated that. She hated being afraid. But more than anything, she hated the thought of Professor Han seeing those headlines. He had spent years teaching her to stand on her own. And now people were saying she had only succeeded because of a billionaire. When she arrived at the Moonlight Crown offices, the receptionist immediately recognized her. Miss Nwosu, they're expecting you. Amara entered the conference room. 6 board members sat around the table. At the center was the chairman of the selection committee, Mr. Seo. He didn't invite her to sit. Miss Nwosu, Mr. Seo. He placed the leaked document on the table. Do you recognize this? Yes. Did you sign it? No. Are you certain? Yes. He studied her. You understand how serious this is? I do. You understand that if this document is authentic, your company could be removed from the project? I understand. And if it is proven that you received confidential assistance from Chairman Kang? I didn't. The room went silent. Mr. Seo leaned back. Then explain your relationship with him. Amara swallowed. We don't have one. He visited your birthday dinner because Professor Han asked him to deliver something to me. What? A personal gift. What kind? Amara hesitated. His sketchbook. One board member frowned. And that's all? Yes. Mr. Seo looked at the others. Chairman Kang owns this company. I know. Do you understand why people might question the selection? Yes. Amara looked around the room. But questioning it doesn't make the accusation true. Mr. Seo's expression remained cold. Then what do you propose? An independent investigation. Several board members exchanged glances. Amara continued. Check every email, every evaluation, every score, every proposal. Check the committee members' communications. Check everything. Mr. Seo raised an eyebrow. You're asking us to investigate ourselves? I'm asking you to investigate me. She placed her hands on the table. If I cheated, remove me. Mira's words echoed in her head. Protect the studio, Amara continued. But if I didn't, I want my name cleared. The door suddenly opened. Everyone turned. Min-jae walked in. Two executives followed behind him. Amara's heart sank. What are you doing here? Min-jae looked at her. I heard about the investigation. Mr. Seo stood. Chairman Kang. This meeting, I know. Min-jae walked to the table. Then he looked at the leaked document. I want to make one thing clear. He picked it up. I had nothing to do with this selection. Amara stared at him. You didn't have to come. I know. Then why? His eyes met hers. Because they're using my name to destroy your reputation. He turned toward the board. I am formally removing myself from every decision involving Adam's studio. The room went silent. Mr. Seo looked surprised. Chairman, conduct the investigation without me. And if the result goes against Miss Nwosu, then she loses the contract. Amara looked at him. And if it proves I earned it? Min-jae didn't hesitate. Then everyone who accused you should hear the truth. For a moment, Amara couldn't speak. He wasn't trying to save her. He was giving her the chance to save herself. Min-jae placed the document on the table. Find whoever created this. Then he walked toward the door. Before leaving, he looked back at Amara. Don't give up. Her eyes narrowed. You sound like Professor Han. A faint smile appeared. Maybe that's why he trusted me. Then he left. Amara stood there silently. She didn't know whether she trusted Min-jae. But she knew one thing. Someone had gone to enormous lengths to destroy her. And whoever it was had made one mistake. They had given her a reason to fight. That evening, Amara returned to the studio. The entire team was waiting. Mira stood immediately. What happened? Amara placed her bag on the desk. They're investigating everything. Are we finished? Amara looked at the four exhausted faces around her. No. She opened her laptop. We're not finished. Mira smiled. What are we doing? Amara looked at the leaked document on the screen. We're finding out who wanted us to lose. And somewhere across Haneul City, someone deleted a message from their phone. A message that simply read, she doesn't know yet, but she will. Someone was watching. Amara didn't know who, but by the following morning, she was determined to find out. She arrived at the studio before everyone else. The lights were still off. She placed her laptop on the desk and opened the leaked document again. Something about it bothered her. Not the fake signature. Not even the impossible date. The formatting. She zoomed in, then stopped. There was a tiny code at the bottom of the page. Amara frowned. She had seen that code before. She opened one of her original proposal files. There it was. The same internal reference code. Her stomach tightened. That shouldn't be there. Mira walked into the studio. You're here already? Amara turned the laptop toward her. Look. Mira leaned closer. What am I looking at? This code. Mira stared at it. Isn't that from our proposal? Yes. How did they get it? Amara shook her head. Only 5 people had access to the original file. Mira's expression changed. Your team? Yes. The selection committee? Yes. And Amara looked at her. Min-jae. Silence filled the room. Mira whispered. You don't think he did this? No. Then who? Amara closed the laptop. We find out. That afternoon, the independent investigation began. Every email was reviewed. Every evaluation was examined. Every board member was questioned. Amara stayed away from the committee. She refused to call Min-jae. If her victory was legitimate, she wanted the evidence to speak for itself. Then, 3 days later, Mira rushed into the studio. Amara looked up. What happened? They found something. Mira placed a flash drive on the desk. The investigation team traced the leaked document. Amara's heart began pounding. To who? Mira hesitated. A former employee of Moonlight Crown. Who? Mira opened the file. A photograph appeared on the screen. Amara started. She recognized him. Mr. Park? He had been one of the consultants involved in the first stage of the hotel project. But why would he do this? Mira opened another document. Because his company submitted one of the proposals. Amara's eyes widened. And they lost. Yes, that's not enough. No. Mira clicked again. A second document appeared. Mr. Park had secretly been negotiating with one of the larger firms that lost the competition. Amara slowly stood. So they wanted my company removed. Exactly. But why make it look like Min-jae helped me? Mira looked at her. Because nobody would question the billionaire connection. Amara's stomach turned. They hadn't just attacked her. They had used Min-jae as the perfect weapon. But there was still one problem. The investigation team wanted to know whether someone inside the committee had helped Mr. Park. And before they could find out, another headline appeared. Moonlight Crown Board to announce final decision tomorrow. Amara stared at the screen. Tomorrow. Everything would be decided. That evening, someone knocked on the studio door. Amara looked up. Min-jae stood outside. She opened it. You came. I heard they found the source. They did. Mr. Park. He nodded. I know. Amara studied him. Did you know? No. She believed him. For some reason, she did. Min-jae looked around the tiny studio. You were here all night? Most of it. You should sleep. She smiled faintly. You sound like Professor Han. He said that too. Her smile disappeared. How is he? Min-jae looked down. He's getting weaker. Amara's eyes filled. I should visit him. You should. She nodded. Then she looked back at Min-jae. Thank you. For what? For not trying to fix this for me. He looked surprised. You wanted to do it yourself. Yes. And you did. Amara shook her head. Not yet. The next morning, the Moonlight Crown Board held its press conference. Cameras filled the room. Reporters waited. Mr. Seo stepped toward the microphone. We have completed our independent investigation. Amara sat in the audience with Mira. Her hands were cold. Mr. Seo continued. The allegations against Adam's studio were found to be false. A wave of whispers moved through the room. The leaked document was fabricated. Amara closed her eyes. Mira grabbed her hand. Mr. Seo continued. There was an attempt by individuals connected to competing firms to manipulate public opinion and interfere with the selection process. A reporter shouted, Was Chairman Kang involved? Mr. Seo looked directly at the cameras. No. Another reporter asked, Did Chairman Kang influence the decision? No. Was Miss Nwosu's company selected fairly? Mr. Seo didn't hesitate. Adam's studio received the highest score. Amara's eyes filled with tears. The committee's decision was based entirely on the quality of their proposal. Mira covered her mouth. We did it, she whispered. Amara smiled through her tears. Then Mr. Seo announced something unexpected. The board has decided to expand Adam Studio's responsibilities. Amara looked up. They will now lead the complete guest experience design for the Moonlight Crown project. The room erupted. Reporters turned toward her. Cameras flashed. But Amara barely heard them. She was thinking about Professor Han. She pulled out her phone and immediately called the hospital. Professor? His weak voice answered. Did you win? Amara laughed through her tears. Yes. There was silence. Then he said, I knew you would. She closed her eyes. You were right. No. His voice was faint. You finally believed in yourself. Amara cried. I wish you could see it. I can. She smiled through her tears. Thank you. For what? For everything. Professor Han breathed softly. Now go build something beautiful. The call ended. Amara held the phone against her chest. For the first time, she didn't feel like a struggling designer trying to prove she belonged. She felt like she had finally arrived. Months later, construction on the Moonlight Crown began. Adam Studio's name appeared on the official project board, beside some of the biggest companies in Korea. But Amara's story had changed in another way too. One afternoon, she arrived at her studio and stopped. A new building stood beside hers. She stared at it. Mira walked up behind her. "Do you know who bought it?" Amara already knew. Min-jae stepped out of a car across the street. She walked toward him. "You bought this?" He nodded. "Your studio needs more space. You didn't ask me." "I know." "Then why?" He smiled. "Because you once told me you didn't need anyone to save you." Amara crossed her arms. "I did. So I didn't save you." He pointed toward the building. "I just bought you more room to grow." She tried not to smile. "You're still strange." "I've heard that before." She laughed. Then her expression softened. "Thank you." Min-jae nodded. Neither of them said anything else. They didn't need to. Across Haneul City, the Moonlight Crown rose slowly into the sky. And inside one small studio that had once struggled to pay its bills, Amara finally understood what Professor Han had been trying to teach her all along. Success wasn't about becoming bigger than everyone else. It was about refusing to become smaller just because the world expected you to. She had almost lost everything because someone tried to turn her connection to a powerful man into proof that she didn't deserve her own success. But in the end, the truth had spoken louder. And Min-jae, he had never needed to rescue her. He only needed to respect her. Amara looked at the new building beside her studio and smiled. Sometimes the person who enters your life unexpectedly doesn't come to change your destiny. Sometimes they come to remind you that you are capable of changing it yourself. And that was how a struggling designer in Haneul City went from fighting to be seen to building something nobody could take away from her. If this story touched you, like the video, subscribe to Afro-Korean Folktales and tell us in the comments, would you have kept fighting if everyone accused you of succeeding because of someone powerful? Because sometimes the hardest battle isn't proving you're talented. It's refusing to let other people convince you that you aren't.